Far in the heart of the South Pacific lies a world of turquoise lagoons, volcanic peaks, and islands scattered like jewels across the ocean. This is French Polynesia, a land whose story begins long before Europeans ever set sail into these waters. Welcome to Mode Hub Tales, where history speaks and culture comes alive. Today, we journey deep into the South Pacific to islands of breathtaking beauty and ancient mystery, French Polynesia. But beyond the beaches and postcards lies a story of daring voyages, brilliant ingenuity, and communities that thrived in harmony with the ocean for thousands of years. This is a tale of life before borders, where the sea was not a barrier but a pathway, and survival meant mastering the skies, currents, and stars themselves. Chapter 1: Historical Background/Origins. Thousands of years ago, intrepid Polynesian navigators set out on daring voyages across the vast, uncharted Pacific Ocean. They had no compasses, no maps, yet they sailed with incredible precision, guided by the stars, the shifting currents, the color of the clouds, and even the flight patterns of birds returning to land. Each journey was a calculated risk, a delicate balance of courage, skill, and knowledge passed down through generations. These voyagers discovered and settled islands like the Marquesas, the Society Islands, and the Tuamotus. They brought with them the foundations of life, crops such as taro, breadfruit, and coconut, domesticated pigs, chickens, and dogs, and essential tools for building, cooking, and navigating. With these, they transformed remote islands into thriving, self-sufficient communities. But survival in such isolation demanded more than food and shelter. The early Polynesians engineered advanced agricultural systems to work with the land, creating terraces and irrigation methods to grow crops sustainably. They mastered fishing techniques that allowed them to harvest from both shallow lagoons and the open sea. Their homes, built from timber and palm, were designed to withstand strong winds and the tropical climate. Beyond material ingenuity, these settlers developed rich cultural traditions. Storytelling, chants, and oral histories preserved knowledge of navigation, astronomy, and ecology. Spiritual practices reinforced a deep respect for nature, guiding how communities hunted, fished, and farmed. Life in these islands was a delicate harmony between human innovation and the power of the natural world. This story of settlement is not just about reaching new lands. It's about shaping a way of life. The Polynesians saw the ocean not as a barrier, but as a bridge connecting islands, cultures, and generations. Their legacy is a testament to human ingenuity, resilience, and the enduring ability to thrive in the most remote corners of the world. Chapter 2: Cultural Highlights. Polynesian society was rich, complex, and deeply structured. Communities were organized around chiefs, known as ariki, whose authority came not just from power, but from lineage, wisdom, and a sacred connection to the land and the ancestors. Leadership was both political and spiritual, rooted in responsibility rather than domination. History was not written. It was spoken, sung, and remembered. Oral traditions carried generations of knowledge, genealogies, migration stories, navigation wisdom, and moral lessons. Through chants, myths, and storytelling, the past stayed alive, shaping identity and guiding future generations. Sacred ceremonies formed the heartbeat of daily life. These rituals connected people to their ancestors, the natural world, and the spiritual forces believed to govern the islands. The land and ocean were not owned. They were respected, protected, and honored as living entities. Art became a language of identity. Tattoos marked lineage, social status, and personal achievements, each design telling a story etched into the skin. Dance and music were more than performance. They were memory, prayer, and celebration expressed through movement and rhythm. Carvings, weaving, and body art reflected a worldview where beauty, meaning, and spirituality were inseparable. These cultural expressions were not just traditions. They were systems of knowledge and belonging. Even today, they remain powerful symbols of Polynesian identity, carrying the voices of ancestors across time. This was a civilization where culture was not something separate from life. It was life itself. This video is created for educational and informational purposes only. It explores history and culture with respect and care, and does not promote any political viewpoint or agenda. Chapter 3. European Contact/Colonization. In the 16th and 18th centuries, the isolation of the Polynesian world began to fade. European explorers, among them Alvaro de Mendana, James Cook, and Louis Antoine de Bougainville, charted these islands, mapping places that had already been known, named, and navigated by Polynesians for generations. With their arrival came unfamiliar tools, new forms of trade, and foreign belief systems. Christianity spread rapidly through missionary efforts, reshaping spiritual life and social structures. European goods altered local economies, introducing dependence alongside convenience. But the most devastating arrival was invisible, diseases to which island populations had no immunity. Entire communities were reduced, and ancient knowledge was lost alongside the people who carried it. By the 19th century, outside influence turned into formal control. In 1842, France established a protectorate over Tahiti, gradually extending its authority across the islands. What followed was not an erasure, but a forced transformation. Traditional leadership systems were weakened, land ownership was redefined, and colonial governance reshaped daily life. Yet Polynesian culture did not disappear. Instead, it adapted. Language, rituals, and identity endured beneath layers of foreign rule. The territory that would become known as French Polynesia emerged as a complex fusion, Polynesian heritage interwoven with French political, cultural, and social influence. This moment marked a profound shift, a transition from a world without borders, where the ocean connected people freely, to one defined by maps, flags, and colonial power. The echoes of that transformation are still felt today. Chapter 4. Human Impact/Lived Experience. For the people of these islands, colonization was not just a historical event, it was a deeply personal experience. Families adapted to new rules, new languages, and new systems of education and religion, often while trying to preserve the traditions passed down through generations. Some customs were practiced quietly, away from colonial oversight. Oral histories, songs, and dances became acts of remembrance and resilience. Elders continued to teach younger generations the old stories of navigation, ancestry, and the sacred relationship between people and the land. Identity itself became layered. Many Polynesians learned to live between worlds, honoring their ancestral roots while navigating the realities of French governance and global influence. This balance was not always easy, but it became a defining feature of modern Polynesian life. Despite centuries of change, the spirit of the islands endured. Culture survived not because it was untouched, but because it was carried through families, ceremonies, and everyday choices. The human story of French Polynesia is one of endurance, adaptation, and quiet resistance through memory. Closing reflection/CTA. The origin of French Polynesia is more than a story of discovery. It is a story of courage, resilience, and adaptation. From ancient navigators who read the stars to modern island communities shaped by centuries of change, these islands carry a legacy of human ingenuity and cultural depth. The next time you see Tahiti's turquoise waters or the rugged peaks of the Marquesas, remember this: you are not just looking at beauty. You are witnessing centuries of navigation, survival, and knowledge passed from generation to generation. Thanks for watching. ModeHub Tales brings untold history to life. Subscribe now to uncover more hidden stories that shaped the world.